Exodore 2000. Okay, I got something I thought might be fun. We have talked Marvel before. Let's do a deep dive. Livvy Dunne. Okay, that sounds fun. What hero should we talk about? Exodore 2000. Let's start after Endgame. Starting with WandaVision. Livvy Dunne. Okay, so what do you want to mainly talk about for the series? The overall plot and the different events, or the characters, or maybe even the actors? Exodore 2000. Just give me your overall thoughts on the series. Livvy Dunne. So okay, I really enjoyed it a lot, honestly. I thought it was done really well, and the pacing was great, and the character development was well done all around, and the acting was really great too. I really liked how they brought back the characters from the Avengers movies and even some X-Men movies. I thought it was all really well done, and a lot of those characters deserved to be seen again, so I really enjoyed seeing them be brought back. Exodore 2000. I couldn't agree more. I really enjoyed it as well, and loved Agatha Harkness, and how they did her was spot on. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I really liked how they did Agatha too. But like everything in that show was so well done. The only complaint I had was maybe the finale was a bit rushed, but other than that, I thought it was spot on as well. Exodore 2000. Yes, I couldn't agree more, and in the comics I was a fan of Monica's character. Livvy Dunne. Me too. You could tell how Monica was gonna be important in the MCU the whole time, even from the start of the first episode. And I was glad she got her powers from Agatha, but I didn't like how it seems like she's not gonna come back and be a hero. Now I'd like to see more of her as a superhero. Exodore 2000. Well, she'll come up again later, but yeah, okay. How about the Loki series? Livvy Dunne. You know, I really liked that series too. It was such a different feel from WandaVision, which was nice. The series was a lot more humorous and light-hearted than WandaVision, and a lot of the characters got some character development during the show, except for like Wanda and Vision. Haha. Exodore 2000. Yeah, Loki was very good too. In particular, the early episodes kind of fell off, but picked up again in the end. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, it had its lows and highs, but I think the highs made up for any lows, and overall I'd say it was extremely well done as well. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I thought the high point, at least for me, was the cartoon. Livvy Dunne. That episode was so great. It was really fun watching all the characters in a new art style too. Exodore 2000. Okay, next is Shanghai. Livvy Dunne. So I really liked Shanghai too. I thought it was a perfect origin story, and it was so cool how they showed us his childhood and the relationship he had with his father and the other kids in the training camp. And the whole action was amazing. The special effects were awesome, and the choreography was great too. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. The gritty martial arts action at the start and the fantasy elements of the second half. Livvy Dunne. Yes, I agree with you 100%. I really thought that Shanghai had the perfect balance of martial arts and fantasy in it. Plus the acting was so good by everyone, but especially Awkwafina. I really loved the way Shanghai and his friends would interact as a group. It was really funny and enjoyable to watch. Exodore 2000. I agree. I don't think Awkwafina gets nearly enough credit for how good she was in it. Not to mention her living legend instructor in the movie who played in Kung Fu Hustle. Livvy Dunne. That's exactly what I was thinking. It was amazing that Awkwafina was able to show her versatility. I feel like she can pull off comedy and also play a very serious and intense character, and she was perfect for Shanghai. And I really loved her relationship with Shanghai in the beginning of the movie too, and like you said, she also had amazing chemistry with the whole cast. She really brought together the whole group, I think. Exodore 2000. Okay, next we have Falcon and Winter Soldier. Livvy Dunne. So I really liked that series too. It was really unique compared to the other ones, and the plot was really interesting. I liked that the main villain wasn't necessarily a super strong enemy, but they were more of a normal guy. Like it was more of an emotional plot, and I really liked all the things they explored in the show, like the racism and the black experience, and how the main characters dealt with their trauma. Exodore 2000. Well said. I didn't think it was as good as some of the others, but it did have a good message, and I thought it was okay, not great and not terrible, but it was okay. Livvy Dunne. That's fair, haha. Yeah, I thought the message and plot could have been done a bit better, but I really liked that the message was definitely delivered, and I just appreciate that Marvel would explore these social issues in the Marvel universe and make shows and movies like that. Exodore 2000. The other Super Soldier and Baron Zemo were the standouts, I thought. Livvy Dunne. Yes, those two were amazing. And that fight scene at the end where it's just Captain America and the Winter Soldier fighting it out hand to hand. I just thought the fight scene was so intense and really showed their skill and strength level. Exodore 2000. Okay, up next, Spider-Man No Way Home. Livvy Dunne. Though I loved that movie, I thought it was the perfect ending for the Tom Holland Spider-Man that we had known for the past 7 years. The movie was so fun and had so many funny and cool scenes, and it was amazing seeing some of the old villains and heroes come back for the movie, and it was really cool that everyone's memories got erased in the end, but I think that's just because they're setting up the next Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. Exodore 2000. I think you put it very well as well. Absolutely loved that movie as well. That death was sad, but man, the movie was incredible. Garfield had an incredible redemption in it after Gwen Stacy's death. Just fantastic, probably the best from MCU since Endgame. Livvy Dunne. It was amazing just how much they packed in that movie and had it work really well. Even though there were so many characters and villains, it all just worked out. I loved how they tied everything in together and still had time to include the emotional side of it too. I also think how all the people still knew who Spider-Man was, but just not Peter Parker, was also really interesting, because now people won't be as mean to him but still be mean to Spider-Man as a hero, which really puts him in another spot where he doesn't exactly know where he truly belongs. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I am curious where all that goes from here. Livvy Dunne. Same, it will be interesting to see how they explore this new territory with Spider-Man. I honestly think it will be interesting to see him be Spider-Man without the people knowing who Peter is, because he is going to have so many different experiences as Spider-Man now than he ever did before. Exodore 2000. Okay, next up, Eternals. Livvy Dunne. Though I kinda liked this movie too. It was quite different and experimental, and a lot of people said it was boring, but I thought it had its moments that I really liked. I liked the special effects and CGI, of course, and I thought the music was fantastic and the cinematography was great too. I wish it had gone more into the mythology behind the Eternals though, but I did like the way it explored humanity, and the different characters were really interesting. Exodore 2000. Okay, we can all have our opinions. I thought the CGI was terrible and did the movie no favors. I did not like the plot, but I did really like some of the characters. I do feel they dumped too large of the roster on people too fast as well. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I agree with the too many characters to quickly think for sure, but maybe I'm biased cause I really like the special effects and CGI in most things I watch, so I guess I didn't mind it too much in Eternals, but I agree with the too large of roster thing cause they needed more time to really develop some characters. Exodore 2000. When I say terrible CGI, I mostly mean the villains. They looked bad. They are supposed to be related to Thanos. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, the villains did look a little silly at parts, and I didn't really understand the point of having an Eternal that was a giant. Like, it just seemed kinda random to me, but yeah, the villains did look a little silly and could have been designed better. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I don't want to be too general. I thought Angelina's CGI was fantastic. Livvy Dunne. Oh, Angelina Jolie's character also had the best writing out of all the characters too. She really was a standout for me in the whole film. Exodore 2000. It's been a while since I've seen it, but that engineer was a standout as well as the actor. Livvy Dunne. Yet those two were also really interesting and well developed. The actress was really funny and likable too, and I thought she just really fit the character as well. Exodore 2000. I know a lot of people hated Piper too, but I thought she was okay as well. Livvy Dunne. Piper as well had some pretty good character development, and I thought she was funny in the movie too, especially some of her scenes with the other characters like the engineer. Exodore 2000. Okay, what about the ending again? I felt it seemed rushed. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, it was definitely rushed. It's like the movie had it all almost figured out until the ending, and it was like they weren't sure what they were going to do with it, so just did that really awkward ending that didn't make any sense, because it was clear that A lot more was planned with the ending since the credits were setting it up for another movie, so it was strange they ended it like that. I think they were trying to do what they did in the first Guardians with the humor of the end of that movie, but it just didn't land as well here. Exodore 2000. Yes, while I kind of am surprised, I wasn't sure, but I think we honestly had similar opinions on the movie, but we seemed to agree a lot on it. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I think so too. I think we had pretty similar opinions, and you're right, we're agreeing on much more than I expected, haha. Exodore 2000. Okay, up next, Hawkeye. Livvy Dunne. Though I loved Hawkeye, I thought the chemistry between Clint and Kate was so much fun, and I loved all the scenes with Laura and Yelena. I thought it was so funny how Yelena kept trying to fight Clint at first, then she ended up being really useful because she knew about tracking and stuff. I thought Laura was so awesome too. I honestly didn't expect that much from her until she really started to take advantage of her hearing disability, and it was amazing to see the things that she can do because of it. Exodore 2000. Will surprise you here, I loved Hawkeye too. I loved how she kept saying Kate Bishop through the whole thing. I really want to see more from them both as well. I loved the LARP group too. I was a LARPer myself once. Livvy Dunne. OMG, that's so cool, you were a LARPer. I was actually interested in it myself for a bit, but I never actually did it, but I still thought it was cool. But yeah, I really liked how Yelena started to say Kate right from the beginning, and their dynamic was honestly so funny, and Kate's character was a lot more lighthearted than I thought she'd be. Exodore 2000. Yes, absolutely. Loved Yelena in Black Widow as well. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, she's really cool. And Yelena in the Black Widow movie, Yelena was great, but she definitely really became memorable in Hawkeye because of her and Kate's dynamic and relationship together, and I really loved her friendship with Kate. It was such a great addition that made Yelena an even better character. Exodore 2000. I don't want to dwell on Black Widow too much. I am trying to do this in chronological order, but my biggest issue with that movie was how they did Taskmaster so dirty. He is a great character in the comics, and they gave her none of his personality in the movie. It could have been the best MCU villain to date, and such a missed opportunity. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I agree with you. In the Black Widow movie, it was like a completely different person. It makes me wonder why they even used that character if they were going to change him that much. Exodore 2000. To be honest, a lot of this is things where they could have been so much better than they were if they just took more time, like Eternals honestly could have been better as a series instead of a movie. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I was just thinking about that too. I feel like they would have been better in a series, and it would have given them more time to really flesh everything out. Exodore 2000. Yes, just focus on each character and let them breathe a little more. They all have interesting characters here. Time restraints have really hurt this phase of the MCU. I think more than anything, so much just felt rushed. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. The characters are so interesting and really had great potential, but I feel like time constraints really made it where we couldn't see the full potential of those characters, which sucks because it could have added so much more to the MCU. Exodore 2000. Like even going back to WandaVision a bit, let us see more of the kids. They were great. Livvy Dunne. Yes, I wanted to see more of the kids because they were amazing. Like, yeah, maybe it had to do with them wanting her to really seem lonely and miserable without them, but the kids were the cutest part of the series, and it would have been great to see more of them. Exodore 2000. I even know the comic where they first came in West Coast Avengers. Livvy Dunne. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I really felt like they underutilized the twins a lot more in most stuff that they're in. But especially in WandaVision, like all the scenes with them, the scenes that included them were really, really cute and funny. I was so sad that we didn't get to see more of that colon. Exodore 2000. And that really brings us to the next one, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now to start, I'll tell you, I am a huge Sam Raimi fan. I always have been, and when I could sense his influence in this, I absolutely loved it. But it kept feeling like they were pulling him back or something, not letting him fully express himself here. Livvy Dunne. Yes, I did see some of it. It really seemed like they wanted that more horror feel to it, and I think with Sam Raimi they got that, but I feel like they should have let him go more over the top with the horror, but they kept pulling it back a little bit. I think if they just let him have full control, it would have been even more exciting and great. Exodore 2000. Yeah, and the scene where they basically had Marvel's Illuminati is both my most hated and most loved scene. For crying out loud, they had Sir Patrick Stewart in that scene. I was almost in tears at that part because it was the first time seeing Fox's Professor X in the MCU. Livvy Dunne. OMG SAMBEEE. I literally almost started crying, like when Patrick Stewart showed up. I was like, and I had seen the other characters in the Illuminati, but I was not expecting Patrick Stewart. Exodore 2000. If people hadn't seen the What If cartoon, they may have been lost here, because that is the version of Captain America we got. And okay, I can't see her taking out Mr. Fantastic like that, but she went toe to toe with Earth's mightiest telepath and won. Like, that's where my suspension of disbelief faltered. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I get that too. I can also see maybe her taking out Mr. Fantastic, but I felt like she did but a little too easily too, because like you said, Mr. Fantastic is Earth's mightiest telepath, so it kinda like he should have at least been a little harder to take down. Exodore 2000. Reed Richards is basically Marvel's Plastic Man and also the most intelligent human on Earth, but yeah, he didn't give her any trouble. Really. Livvy Dunne. Right? Like he could have at least given her a challenge. Exodore 2000. Nope, instead he's spaghetti. He's dead now. When she killed Black Bolt, okay maybe, but wouldn't he have been smart enough not to use his power? Right then, can't he stop himself? Then we have the Professor X scene. He is the most powerful telepath on Earth. He didn't know what would happen ahead of time. Livvy Dunne. Right? Like, these characters are so powerful and so powerful telepaths, and they just kind of got taken out super easily. I think you're right, maybe Black Bolt would have died, but at least let him try to fight back a little. Exodore 2000. Once again the scenes here themselves just couldn't breath. Livvy Dunne. That was definitely the main problem with the movie. Everything seemed rushed, and like it had to be done as quickly as possible. Exodore 2000. I honestly had little issue with America Chavez, but they did overshadow Strange a bit with her. I did love the Undead Strange scene and the musical magic scene. Those were good. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I agree with that too. I thought that even though she took some of the spotlight from Strange, I did like how fun America's character was and how she still made an impression and made the audience connect with her, but she could have done that even without overshadowing Strange. Yes, I did like the Undead Strange scene and the musical scene. Those were really funny and enjoyable. Exodore 2000. The biggest issue I had with the movie, though, is that they kind of took this beloved character they had, Scarlet Witch, and turned her into such a villain that I kind of don't want to see her now. Livvy Dunne. Oh yeah, I felt that a little bit in this movie. I kind of was disappointed with them making her that much of a villain, because she was very complex in the movies beforehand, but it was like they just made her completely evil in this, whereas before she had a lot more character and personality to her, and it was just disappointing, really. I also just don't know where her character is going to go from here, because like, how do you make her likable after this? Exodore 2000. Exactly, that's what I mean. Sure, she did some bad things in WandaVision, but she was redeemable. Now she really isn't, and I liked Elizabeth Olsen as her. Livvy Dunne. I loved Elizabeth Olsen's portrayal as her too, and I loved her portrayal in WandaVision even when she went a little crazy, and it was fun to see the different layers of her and to get a little inside of her head, but she was still redeemable. But yeah, now she's just straight up evil, and I don't think there's really a way to redeem her now. Exodore 2000. You know, it's funny we said all that and never really mentioned Spider-Man. Wasn't he the whole reason for all that? Livvy Dunne. Oh yeah, you're right. That's also true, and he felt a little too much like a side character in his own movie, so that was a little disappointing too. Exodore 2000. Okay, so our next movie, Moon Knight. Livvy Dunne. Okay, Moon Knight. I was really excited for this one, and it absolutely did not disappoint. It was so interesting, and I just loved Steven as a character, and especially the dynamic between him and Mark, and I thought the acting was amazing, the cinematography was fantastic, and the overall storyline was just so cool. I loved how they took an obscure character and just really made it their own and made it absolutely incredible. Exodore 2000. Sorry, I said movie, I meant series, but yeah, I really know almost nothing about him, didn't really follow his comics, so this was my first introduction to the character. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I thought the way they introduced him and made him into a show instead of a movie was a really good decision because it just gave so much time to explore all these different aspects of his character and his story, which in the movie wouldn't have been possible. I know a little bit about the character, but overall I felt it was a great way to bring a more obscure character into the public's eye and give him more of a chance to shine. Exodore 2000. Absolutely, I loved this series. I thought it was fantastic. Livvy Dunne. Me too, and I loved it. Did show what Stephen was thinking and the inner struggle and how much of a battle he was, constantly fighting every second in his head between his personalities. It was just so well done, and just the acting by Oscar Isaac overall, I think, was just so impressive too. Exodore 2000. I think I just heard they might do a season 2. They had said there wouldn't be, just have to wait and see. Now I guess. Livvy Dunne. OMG, I would love a second season, especially since we see that he's been taken back by Khonshu, and even though I didn't want to see Stephen taken away, I think there is a lot for them to work with going forward. I just am dying to know what happens to him next. Exodore 2000. I'll tell you, I didn't read Moon Knight, however I did read some Night Shift, so he did appear in that group with Werewolf by Night, Digger, the Shroud Misfit, Tacker, Alien, Mockingbird, and Gypsy Moth. Livvy Dunne. Oh, that's interesting. I've never read his comics, but that's pretty cool to think of him showing up with all those characters. I didn't know about that, though, so that's cool to learn. Exodore 2000. I don't know if they would ever touch on that, but who knows? Livvy Dunne. I feel like they'll try to do something with it if they make a second season. It would be cool to see them explore that more. I definitely want them to continue with this story. Exodore 2000. Same here as far as he goes. I just want to see more of him. I just hope they keep the quality up. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I feel the same way. I just want them to make sure they don't let the quality slip if they continue the show. Exodore 2000. Speaking of quality, the next one is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I will preface this with, I thought Angela Bassett was fantastic and was Oscar-worthy in her role in the movie. Livvy Dunne. Yes. She definitely stood out to me as a major highlight in the movie, and I agree she definitely could have gotten an award for her performance. I also liked Lieutenant Joe, and I really felt that overall the acting talent from the cast was really strong. Exodore 2000. Too bad the rest of it kind of let me down. I loved Reed as well, but the rest of it just wasn't good, and I was really looking forward to seeing her on the big screen. I had loved that character since seeing him fight Daredevil way back in issue 7 from 1965. Not that I read it then, since it came out before I was born. I read it about 10 or 12 years later. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, that's true. I do think the acting talent was very strong, and I loved Reed as well, but yeah, for me the overall story and plot and everything else seemed very weak, especially what they did with Maker. I felt that could have been done way better and more epic. Exodore 2000. Yeah, Neighbor is such a good character, and I liked what they did style-wise with him, but that and Ironheart just were not good. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I agree with that, especially with Ironheart. I was actually really excited to finally see her in the MCU, even though I don't know a lot about her. I was excited to finally see her in live action, and I knew she'd be good, but she just seemed very lackluster, and I really couldn't get behind her. Exodore 2000. That, and what was up with that suit? It looked downright silly, and so you know I've never read one of her comics either, so no idea about that character. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, it really was odd, and it did make her look silly, and same here. I was super excited for her character to finally be introduced, and I read like maybe a couple of pages from a few of her comics, but I don't think her character was written correctly. It felt rushed in a sense. Exodore 2000. Again, yeah, I think that's a running issue with these newer shows and movies. Some of them just feel too rushed. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, they definitely seem like they're rushing, just getting as much content out as possible instead of taking the time to flesh out what they already have and take the time to make things good. They just cared more about quantity than quality right now. Exodore 2000. To be honest, it almost feels like they're taking all they can think of and tossing it at the wall and seeing what sticks. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. They're trying to expand as much as they can and just pump out content as fast as they can without really stopping and thinking about the content first and focusing way more on quantity than quality. Exodore 2000. maybe they should just pull back and hold off on so many characters so fast, which brings me to my next show, Echo. I knew nothing about her and only seen what we seen in Hawkeye when they announced the show. I was just like, why? Livvy Dunne. Yeah, that's another one that I'm kind of iffy on, like maybe they'll change my mind, but I'm not sure if we needed to focus on her yet, especially with how many other characters they have right now. Exodore 2000. To be honest, I haven't seen it like a lot of other people and have no wish to. I am always willing to give things a chance, but it just seems like a nothing burger beginning to end. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, it definitely wasn't something that I felt super compelled to watch. It just didn't seem too exciting and just very lackluster and, like you said, kind of a nothing burger, and it felt like they didn't end the bare minimum with this show, and I know a lot of people who didn't really connect with it, so I feel like a lot of people are kind of in the same boat about that, with not wanting to watch it because of how it was written and how it felt. Exodore 2000. That brings us to our next show. I will tell you, I was in love with She-Hulk when I was a kid. I even had a She-Hulk poster in my room when other people had real people hanging up. Livvy Dunne. Oh, that's awesome. I knew about She-Hulk, but I don't believe I'd read any of her comics, and I didn't know much about her, but I did read that she like a fourth wall breaker. So I was really excited to see that in live action, and I think Tatiana did an amazing job, and overall I really loved how the show was both lighthearted and funny, but could also have deep moments, and just that combination of fun and serious was great. Exodore 2000. I honestly think Tatiana did a great job portraying her again. I don't think a lot of people connected with her in this, and when people learned of its message they lost even more, but I'll tell you, I enjoyed the show all the way till the final episode, and that last episode was so bad. Livvy Dunne. I will admit that I did have the thought that they were trying to push their message about feminism too much, that it would overpower the character, but luckily it didn't overpower the character, and she still seemed likable and still funny, and the story was still good, and I really enjoyed her dynamic with Daredevil and Jennifer, so it wasn't the case for me that it overpowered the character, but I know a lot of people thought that, so I think that could be one of the reasons it wasn't well received. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I found her funny, and I have always liked Mr. Immortal, and couldn't believe they made a live-action version of one of the Midwest Avengers already. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I also liked that they brought him in, because some people may not know that character, but I definitely liked that they brought him in, and that it did bring in some extra humor, and that he fit with the light-hearted and funny tone of this show, so that was definitely a great addition. Exodore 2000. I think if they hadn't ruined the show with the final episode, this would really be one of my favorite Marvel shows to date, but I am a bit soured on the whole series now because of it. I still love She-Hulk and would give her another chance if they brought her back. Think Hulk wasn't always a success either. Livvy Dunne. Oh man, yeah, I can't see how that last episode would really alter people's opinions of the show overall, but I definitely hope they bring her back in the future, because I think she has a lot of potential, and if she had another season, it could definitely be something incredible. Exodore 2000. In her comic, my favorite part was when she met up with Howard the Duck. I think that could be really funny live action. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, that would definitely be hilarious and something super fun to see live action, and I could see them being a great duo. Exodore 2000. Okay, next series is MS Marvel. What did you think of this show? Livvy Dunne. I thought it was amazing. I don't know much of anything about MS Marvel, and I went in blind, but I absolutely loved the show. I thought it had a great balance of humor, heart, and action, and I loved Kamala. I think it's such a great story about coming of age and family and culture, and I really loved her family and love her mother and the dynamic between all of them and the other side of life with her being a superhero, and I just loved the story overall and think it was incredibly told. Exodore 2000. You loved her mother? That's funny. I loved her dad. That scene where he goes in and buys a hostess fruit pie like the heroes used to do in the comics cracked me up. They'll tell you MS Marvel was so good. I loved the actress. I thought the first episode was amazing, loved its style and just everything about it. Livvy Dunne. Oh yeah, her dad was honestly a great part of the story, and I loved that whole dynamic between all four of them in the family. Like, there was always this sense of humor and fun with them all, and they loved one another and just wanted the best for each other. Exodore 2000. Yes, exactly. I am glad I am not the only one that loved MS Marvel. I will say I liked it more when she was in New Jersey and didn't like the other parts as much, but when she was in her own town, I just loved it. I thought the whole red scarf stuff and with her grandma I didn't like as much. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I do feel like the town dynamic was better, especially since it focused on her and her family the majority of the time. It was more enjoyable. And yeah, the red scarf stuff, I just didn't feel as interested in it and just wasn't as good or as compelling as when she was back in New Jersey. Exodore 2000. Yet Mon Bellamy is fantastic as MS Marvel. My only thing is if I was Disney, I would have gotten the scene with her and Tom Holland as Spider-Man in there no matter how much that would have cost. It might have turned some people around on her. There was a great scene in the comics with MS Marvel and Spider-Man. Honestly, they could still do it. Livvy Dunne. That would have been great if they did get Tom Holland into the same scene with her, because that would have been such an amazing dynamic to create and it would be a fun way to see them interact. And they also did have that scene in comic. I thought it would have been such a good reference and just a fun way to add a dynamic to the MCU. I think that would have honestly made the show just that much better had they had Tom come in. Exodore 2000. I am glad you agree. Honestly, that would be my one correction in that series, but yeah, I really liked MS Marvel. Livvy Dunne. Oh yeah, definitely one of the few things I would have changed, cause I just wanted to see Tom Holland interact with her and it would have been such a fun scene for the MCU to have those two meet and it would have been incredible, and it also probably would have helped more people connect with her. Exodore 2000. Yeah, and that's what they honestly needed. I can't believe no one there said do this. Well, next is the Marvels. Hey, we still get more Mon Bellamy, and that's about all I liked in this one. Livvy Dunne. Oh man, I honestly was so excited for the Marvels, and it was just so lackluster. I really liked Mon and her character. I thought the whole dynamic between her and Bruno was really great, but I just couldn't get into the story. It was very boring to me, and it felt like there wasn't a lot actually happening. Exodore 2000. Yeah, and that villain was about straight out of Spaceballs. I did like the cats. The cats walked around on four legs and meowed for effect. Livvy Dunne. Oh my gosh, the cats were just hilarious. I loved the cats and I love all the jokes there were about the cats. They were honestly the best part about the movie. The villain also was super forgettable and just didn't feel like a solid threat, which is also really disappointing to see. Exodore 2000. Yeah, and the whole movie hinged on a deleted scene from Captain Marvel. No one thought cutting that scene from the other movie was a bad idea, really? Livvy Dunne. I don't think they thought about that, honestly. That honestly should have been kept because it really is integral to the story. I'm surprised they would leave such important scenes out of the movies, but yeah, the whole story did hinge on that scene a lot, and it feels weird they were even allowed to make the movie without having that scene. Exodore 2000. Maybe it could have been better if they used that scene as the movie's cold open and get everyone up to speed, but no, they wait till later to even mention it. Livvy Dunne. Oh my gosh, that is a great idea. They should have done that. But yeah, they really should have used that scene as an opener, cause I think that's one detail that really was needed and they could have given just a bit more context. Exodore 2000. So we watch almost the whole movie with no context. What are they thinking? Oh, and don't even get me started on Captain Marvel's Cinderella moment with her dress and song and dance number. Livvy Dunne. Exactly, and the thing that bothered me more than anything is that Carol was really unlikable and they were trying to present her as this powerful hero, but all she really came off as was unlikable, and I didn't really know who I was supposed to be rooting for, and I felt like they didn't properly give her more of a hero arc or something like that to make her more likable. Exodore 2000. I'll tell you who I was rooting for through the whole thing was MS Marvel. I just focused on her and was able to make it through the whole movie. Livvy Dunne. Same, I was definitely rooting for her, and all the moments with her was what kept me motivated to watch the movie the whole time. Exodore 2000. Okay, well, the next one is Thor: Love and Thunder. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I did feel that movie was disappointing, although I really liked Christian Bale as Gore the God Butcher and I thought he was terrifying. I feel like he played that role perfectly and I am glad he had a big part in the movie. Exodore 2000. Honestly, I found the whole movie depressing. To be fair, my wife has cancer, so yeah, I am going to see it that way. Livvy Dunne. Oh no, I am very sorry to hear that. That would definitely affect how you view the movie, especially with that being such a big part of the movie, and I do hope you and your wife are alright. Exodore 2000. Yeah, she's fine right now, but yeah, it colored the movie for me a bit. At least the kids were cute in the movie. Livvy Dunne. That's good that she is currently fine, although I'm very sorry she has to go through that at all. And the kids were great, honestly loved the goats too. But I will say Gore did leave a mark on me, and I've always had an uncomfortable feeling around him when watching the movie, and so I do definitely understand why it would be a depressing movie, but I do love Christian Bale as an actor in that role, and he was definitely terrifying. Exodore 2000. I kind of laughed at the goats a bit and was glad to see the Olympic gods in the movie as well, even if they were a little lackluster. Livvy Dunne. I just love the goats, I think they were very cute. And honestly, seeing the Olympic gods had me smiling a bit, but they did feel like they were just there, but the scene with Zeus and Thor did make me laugh. Exodore 2000. Oh yeah, it did crack me up a bit. I didn't love the movie, and honestly I didn't hate it either, and even kind of liked the bit with the aliens on Earth. Livvy Dunne. I just felt very mixed about this movie. I felt like it had its highs and lows, so I guess it's just a movie that I don't really have a super concrete opinion about, because some moments I loved, others I just wasn't really into it. But I will say that I loved the goats, and I loved seeing Zeus and Thor, and it was very entertaining. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I think I kind of meet you there myself too. Now the next show was one episode special, Werewolf by Night. Livvy Dunne. That did feel a bit more fun than some of their other specials, but I didn't get too much of an attachment to it. But I do feel like one interesting thing about this special is how it opened the door to other universes. I thought that was a very cool idea, and I honestly think it could be fun to explore more if they chose to. Exodore 2000. Yeah, and like I said earlier, he has a connection to Moon Knight if they want to pursue that. I loved this show. I thought it was fantastic. I loved its style as well. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I think they definitely could explore that more, and it would be pretty cool if they connected him to Moon Knight somehow, because that could be pretty interesting. I also agree, I loved the style, like how even the credits felt like a classic black and white horror movie. It was great. Exodore 2000. I think the standout in this show was Man Thing, and I have always liked the character. Livvy Dunne. Though I loved Man Thing, he was so scary. And I thought the way they did him was really awesome. He was very frightening, and I really liked the concept behind him too, and definitely loved his design. Exodore 2000. Yet, the first time I heard of Man Thing was in the old Micronauts comic, so I'd known of him for a while. I'd really like to see more specials like this as well. Speaking of, our next one is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Livvy Dunne. Oh, that's awesome. I'd heard of Man Thing, but didn't know much about him until this special, and this is easily one of my favorite specials they've done. So I would love to see more. I did watch Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and OMG was it silly. I expected it to be crazy and over the top and fun, and it more than met my expectations. It was ridiculous. I absolutely loved it. Exodore 2000. Yeah, same, and Neil Patrick Harris really. Livvy Dunne. Oh my gosh, yes, he was such a fantastic choice for that role. I absolutely loved it. It was perfect. Exodore 2000. Whoops, sorry, I meant Kevin Bacon. Livvy Dunne. Haha, no worries, I understood what you meant. Honestly, I think Kevin Bacon was a really great choice, and it was so funny watching him in this ridiculous show, and I feel like he played a role perfectly. Exodore 2000. Yeah, it was so funny, Drax and Mantis. Livvy Dunne. Oh yeah, they were too. I thought every actor was a great fit for their roles in this holiday special. It felt so ridiculous, but it was amazing to watch. Exodore 2000. Okay, we're getting close to the end of my list. The next movie here is Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. Livvy Dunne. Oh man, I did watch that, and I did enjoy it, although I felt it was a bit lackluster compared to the other Ant-Man movies. It still had its fun moments, but that is a disappointing thing about the MCU, that there has been a lack of good villains in some recent movies, even though I do feel Quantumania did have a relatively decent villain who did feel pretty threatening, so that was a plus to have. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I think they did MODOK dodgery in this movie. A lot of people have even complained about the colors they use in the microverse. Livvy Dunne. I agree MODOK was a super interesting villain in the comics and they definitely did him dirty in this version by just making him a head the whole time. I think he should have been given the chance to have a body or something like that, and the colors did feel off. They made the microverse feel way more depressing and dim than what I would imagine it would be. Exodore 2000. Say my favorite part was Hank Pym's redemption of their Ben, that it wasn't all that great. Livvy Dunne. I feel that's the thing I feel that I liked the most about the movie was seeing the dynamic between Hope and Hank and the dynamic of that relationship. I thought it was really sweet, and the way Hope has just always loved her papa and trusted him really was heartwarming to watch. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I liked how the giant ants came in and saved everyone at the end. That kind of cracked me up. Livvy Dunne. Though that part was really funny, it was very unexpected. Honestly, though, I kind of loved the relationship between Ant-Man and the ants. I thought that was pretty fun. Exodore 2000. Yet the ant scene kind of reminded me a bit of a Star Wars vibe. Livvy Dunne. Though I definitely see what you're saying there, it definitely gave me those vibes as well. Exodore 2000. The main villain, Kang, was kind of nothing. If Janet hadn't been there, he would have never known of the outside world, so they were just correcting something they created in the first place. Also, I never liked her in this movie. The old Wasp in the comics and on TV had so much personality, and this MCU version is just nothing like she should be. She's supposed to be someone who loves adventure and honestly wants to be a superhero. Livvy Dunne. I agree, I definitely felt like she didn't have as much of a unique personality as she does in the comics or the cartoons, and I definitely feel like she was more of a side character than an actual main character, and I think they could have done a bit more for her because I felt like she definitely could have been used more than she was. Exodore 2000. Okay, our last movie here, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Livvy Dunne. Oh man, that's a really good one. I loved how they did the whole Guardians of the Galaxy team, and I really love how they focused on Rocket and his arc and how they ended up finding his real family, and I loved how they delved with all the family stuff because it felt very deep and interesting, and I really felt for him because he did go through a lot in that movie. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. His backstory was really sad. I knew the old Guardians comics with Astrid and Martinez, Yondu, Charlie 27, Nakeem, and Stakar, so I don't really know these ones as well. I still love the other movies though. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I thought a lot about the comics too, like how he was created for the sole purpose of destroying his species. I just thought it was very interesting to see how they tied in his backstory and how he found the family in the GOTG because it was a super cool thing to add. Exodore 2000. Yes, that is true, and of course his team is really his new family. Livvy Dunne. I just love that whole group dynamic because they truly do function as a family, and that's really what I love about the characters is just their relationship with each other. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I felt bad for Star-Lord and Gamora. She doesn't really even know him now. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I definitely felt bad for Star-Lord and Gamora because they really are not the same, so it feels that they will never be able to go back to what they had, and I hope that they can make some progress, but it will be difficult since a lot of things will be different now. Exodore 2000. It just shows sometimes we just have to move forward and do as well as we can. Livvy Dunne. I agree, you can't always go back and things aren't always going to be the same, but I do think it can always be better once you just learn to let go and try to move forward and do as much as you can. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I think they did MODOK diary in this movie. A lot of people have even complained about the colors they use in the microverse. Livvy Dunne. I agree, MODOK was a super interesting villain in the comics, and they definitely did him dirty in this version by just making him a head the whole time. I think he should have been given the chance to have a body or something like that, and the colors did feel off. They make the microverse feel way more depressing and dim than what I would imagine it would be. Exodore 2000. Say my favorite part was Hank Pym's redemption of their Ben, that it wasn't all that great. Livvy Dunne. I feel that's the thing I feel that I liked the most about the movie was seeing the dynamic between Hope and Hank and the dynamic of that relationship. I thought it was really sweet, and the way Hope has just always loved her papa and trusted him really was heartwarming to watch. Exodore 2000. Yeah, I liked how the giant ants came in and saved everyone at the end. That kind of cracked me up. Livvy Dunne. So that part was really funny. It was very unexpected. Honestly, though, I kinda loved the relationship between Exodore, yet it lived though okay, our life Livvy Dunne. Oh man, that's a really good one. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I definitely felt bad for Star-Lord and Gamora because they really are not the same, so it feels that they will never be able to go back to what they had, and I hope that they can make some progress, but it will be difficult since a lot of things will be different now. Exodore 2000. It just shows sometimes we just have to move forward and do as well as we can. Livvy Dunne. I agree, you can't always go back and things aren't always going to be the same, but I do think it can always be better once you just learn to let go and try to move forward and do as much as you can. Exodore 2000. In fact, I guess that's kind of how Disney should look at the MCU in general. We can't dwell on all the success of the past and just have to move on with what you have created. Livvy Dunne. Yeah, I do agree with that. I think they should be focusing on what they could make in the future instead of looking back and comparing all their newer projects to the ones in the past. They should start to make a way forward with new characters and new projects and make the new ideas just as good or better. Exodore 2000. Only one of that's our next series. Livvy Dunne. Oh my goodness, I definitely feel that is one of the best MCU projects they have done so far, and they should totally keep doing what if scenarios of all the movies, because some of the scenarios they gave were such good ones and they were fun to see what they would be if things happened differently. Exodore 2000. I watched the whole first season and loved it. There were a couple I didn't like. For one, what if Chilla was Star-Lord? Didn't care for that. Livvy Dunne. Oh yeah, that's one I definitely was not a big fan of either. That one was not as strong as the other ones were, and I definitely feel like we could have gotten a more interesting storyline out of it. Exodore 2000. Yeah, it was just a big screw you Star-Lord for a whole episode. Livvy Dunne. Oh my gosh, yes. Like it's not like Star-Lord should have had such a prominent role. The whole thing was kind of just a big screw you to Star-Lord, and I honestly didn't care much for it. Exodore 2000. Other than that, I liked the first season. I will watch more of season 2. I've only seen the first episode, but I liked it. Livvy Dunne. Oh my gosh, I definitely recommend some of them because some of them I feel were really good and really do have a lot of fun with this concept, and I felt like it really paid off in the second season cause some of the ones were actually super fun to experience. Exodore 2000. Oh, and before I forget, I will let you know I was a big fan of the What If comics. They were so good. A couple really good ones were like What If Tony Stark Never Escaped and What If Conan the Barbarian Fought Wolverine. Livvy Dunne. Oh my gosh, I read those stories. They were so good. I feel like they definitely did this show justice because there were so many cool stories that they could create and show us with this, and they definitely picked a ton of good ones. Exodore 2000. Okay, the last thing you'll talk about here is Secret Invasion. I watched the first episode and was so bored I fell asleep. Livvy Dunne. Honestly, understandable, it hasn't been that exciting so far and I just feel so bored watching it. I've watched every Marvel show all the way through, but I still just can't get into this one. It's so slow and it seems like it's going to be such a slow show, and I don't see how they expect people to actually watch it when there's nothing happening. Exodore 2000. You've seen enough clips. I think you'll skip this one as well as Echo. I am just not watching everything now, and I've seen how Secret Invasion ends and it's just not good. Livvy Dunne. So I understand you because honestly I'm getting to that point as well. I feel like they're really not making much of a reason for me to watch everything, and I definitely won't be watching all the way through some of the newer shows that have come out or that are coming out soon. Exodore 2000. Well, let's just both hope they do make some shows that everyone can enjoy and they don't have to push their agenda all the time. Just focus on making a good, enjoyable story and we'll be back watching it. Livvy Dunne. Yes, I definitely agree. The key is just to focus on the writing, and that doesn't mean that they can't have cool, diverse characters and cool female characters and stuff like that. They just have to not make it so distracting and such a huge point of focus because the overall story and characters are what matters. Exodore 2000. I couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thanks for helping me with this, Livvy. You're awesome as always. Livvy Dunne. Of course, anytime you want to talk about Marvel or anything, you just hit me up. I love talking about everything.